All right, and welcome to the next episode of B&E. I'm Enoch.
I'm B. Blair.
Okay, so this is gonna be. I'm gonna be biased. These are gonna probably be my favorite type of episodes. This is gonna be one of our B episodes.
Yeah.
So if you're not familiar with our B episodes, they're really just episodes that are super personal to us as who we are, who we've become as men, and it's just like we give you our raw truths here.
Yeah.
We really do. So these are going to be the vulnerable, personal episodes. So if a tear does happen, if cuss words do go flying, if you're gonna see us all different spectrums of us. So
Yeah.
they're my favorite. I want to give you guys the Enoch and
The real.
So there you go. So B. So the topic for this one is heartbreak. Heartbreak. Really funny. Really funny. So
You can't say heartbreak and then go into
no,
okay,
it's really
right.
funny because it's. Hey, if you don't know me, I'm super poetic in just terms of like life and like seeing how things like the symmetry of like life and how things come back around. So, me and Blair's friendship started at the very beginning of 2012, and the thing that made us bond were the women we were in love with in 2012. We fell in love with those women. I mean, yours might have been a little bit earlier, but we're going to say around 2010.
Around the same time.
Around 2000, so around the beginning of the 2010 decade. We fell in love with these women, and we're still in love with them in 2012. Except now,
2020, you mean?
No. Well, I'm not in love with her.
Dude, that's
No. We're getting there. I'm doing the time. I'm not in love with her now. Not anymore. But in 2012, our friendship, obviously we were just, friends, but it really, as we started bonding over the pain of, loving these women, our friendship skyrocketed because we had very similar experiences. And lo and behold, after 2012, hearts got broken everywhere, shattered to pieces. That's why this is the Heartbreak episode.
Mm-hmm.
So from 2012 to, definitely 2019, actually, even though we did get over them and all this kind of stuff, get over them as the scars are still there.
Scars are still there.
But we did get over them, moved on with our lives and all this kind of stuff. But what was very, very beautiful at the end of this decade, so at 2019, for both of us, in December, and literally, were they both after the 25th for both of us? Yeah, after, so literally the last week of this decade. So he got a letter from this same woman, saying pretty much that, he was amazing. The things that he did and stuff. He got the closure he always wanted, And me, I actually met up with the woman, and I got the closure I wanted to literally end out the decade. So really, it was and we talked about it.
Yeah,
and so
extensively.
And so to really have that happen to both of us, when literally these were women we started the decades with, and then we ended the decades really with these same women in terms of just finally getting the closure.
Right.
It took way too long to get that closure.
Way too long. Way too much suffering.
Way too much suffering. But we got the closure at the end of the decade. And then it was the thing that really bonded us.
Yeah. You know what's really ironic is that when I got that message, you were with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I had him read it before I read it because I was too damn scared.
That is true. I read the letter before. I was like, I'll tell you, you need to read the letter. That's how much
he's my point person.
Yeah. Yeah, but reading the letter, I was like, oh yeah, you can read this. She sung your praises. The praises you deserve to be sung. And so it was really beautiful that, really in this time period that really I saw a decade, and literally my change and growth as a man, really, I can see it in every facet when I think about this woman.
Mm.
And I'm pretty sure you probably can say the same thing. Every change and growth, you can see it through just that relationship. It symbolized who I was for this decade. Hurt. It really did. And it's beautiful. Like I said, it was heartbreak. It was heartbreak, but I've come to the two places with it is that I appreciate the heartbreak that it was. I do. I appreciate it for, like I said, my most powerful moments in 2010 are usually a stem of, 2010 decade, a stem of that heartbreak. So I appreciate it for what it was, and I also realize that now I'm completely ready to move on with no baggage, like none at all. Like I'm ready to find that next person, and this woman is left in that decade. You know, she's there. It was what it was. It made me who I needed to be, and now I appreciate it for what it was. But it's nothing but a memory at this point. And it's a freeing feeling. Like it's like shackles are off for me. Like I'm completely,
awesome.
Yeah, I'm completely late. He's like, like,
I'm not in that situation.
You're not in that situation. Okay.
But I'm happy for you.
Yeah. I think I wasn't as deep. Like I said, it was deep for me. It was the deepest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But you've known her since you were like, I met mine when I was 18. You met yours when you were like 13 or something, like
12
or 12. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like for me, it was.
That was like the buildup of I don't know. There's too much.
There's too much. There's too much. Okay, so I guess we have to kind of go in and we're gonna preserve these young ladies' names because as soon as we said it, I mean, if you actually truly know us, you know who we're talking about.
Exactly.
But we're gonna preserve these young ladies' names. So tell me about your experience. Okay, so give me 2010, give me 2012, and then give me 2019. So pretty much the start of when you're falling in love. 2012 what bonded us over these women, and then 2019 the closure that you wanted to have received and you finally got. I know I just laid the hard stuff on. I laid it on you. I laid it on you super smooth, super casual. Like, and you're just like,
I have like a really bad like episodic memory too, meaning like I don't remember like stories of my life very well. So I will do the best I can.
Do you better. That's all we ever ask.
Okay, so I feel like I gotta start out with saying me and this girl were on again, off again for a couple of different times, 2 or 3 different times. So this started when I was like 19 originally. Damn. Started when I was 19.
Beginning of the decade. Yep.
And we like had our, I don't know. There's a person in your life that just makes you feel like no one else does, and it kind of seems like no one else ever could. And that's how that was. And then and I was at Tech at the time, and then we were like, yeah, let's be together. And then
that's exactly how it was too. That's exactly. It's not exaggerating at all.
And this was right before summer, and I had like basically like arranged like my classes around spending time with her, right?
You did.
And then
you arranged our friendship around spending time with her. You really did.
I think this is before that.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. This is like Physics 1.
Oh, yeah, you're 100% correct. Yep.
Physics 1.
Okay, yeah, this is the Blair I didn't know. Okay, go for it.
This is the Blair you didn't know. Exactly. And I still had hope. And then, so I arranged my summer classes at Tech around spending time with her. And then literally right before classes were about to start, she was like, Blair, sorry, can't do this. I'm just going to have fun this summer, basically, is what she said. And I was like, fuck.
It was at this point, ladies and gentlemen, that Blair should have walked away.
No doubt.
But you did it. So.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that summer was actually not that summer, but that summer, fall, spring, okay? It took a long ass time, but okay. But that like proceeding year after that was like some of the best growth I ever had as a person. Because, I don't know, it wasn't necessarily insecurities. I mean, we all have insecurities, and I still have insecurities. But I don't know. I had this belief that like if I went to the gym and got big and strong and muscular, that she'd be like, "Oh, Blair, I'm coming back to you," you know. And I mean
you
that
did. You went and got big, strong, and muscular.
I got big, yeah.
Spoiler alert. We met at Georgia Tech's gym. That was where we bonded.
Yep.
So, thank you, the girl who broke your heart. Thank you.
I know.
If she would have decided to be with you, you would have been like, okay, I'm fine with being just a skinny kid.
Skinny.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But so that summer, I started lifting, going on the weight, hurting myself, but in the gym.
Yeah, he would have better shoulders.
I hurt my shoulders. It was bad. I was like, I don't know if this thing's ever gonna be the same, right?
Probably not.
At this point, yeah. Anyways, and then I don't know, through fall, through spring, I guess I had a ton of time that summer for just introspection. And let me tell you, it drove me freaking crazy. I don't know, but it was also one of the most rewarding things that I've ever been like granted the opportunity to do. Because it allowed me to really get to know myself, and it allowed me to actually start to kind of love myself. Right?
Important.
Which is something I feel like most of us don't do. We're too busy to do it, to like go back and really like fall in love with yourself. Like if you can't take yourself out on a date and have a good ass time, you ain't there yet.
Well, why would anybody else want to take you on a date?
I agree. I agree.
You want to be dateable, you got to first be able to date yourself.
Exactly.
You want to be lovable, you first got to be able to love yourself.
And I'm not sure that most people do that. They skip that part, I think.
Yeah, because that's the hardest part.
It is. It is the hardest part, no doubt. Anyways, I think coming around spring, which is when Physics 2 was. Okay.
It was in the spring.
Right? Physics 2 is when we met. That's why that's mentioned.
Yes, we met. Technically, we had the Physics 2 class together. We walked out of a very hard test, kicked both of our asses. And I'm good at physics. He's not. So it kicked both of our asses. And then I think he was walking behind me, and I was walking. I think I was with another group of people, and we were talking about the test. And Blair was like, "Yeah, I didn't get that at all," or something like that. And then I was like, "When we all had different answers we got, and it was at that moment that we realized we were all fucked."
Yeah,
like we all have different answers. And that was lightning, because it's lightning here.
That was Thor. He came down.
Yes.
He's on my porch right now.
He went to Georgia Tech and he was fucked in this test. So then afterwards, we actually saw each other at the gym after having a conversation about the test. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah. We started getting along. And actually, do you remember like our first like big conversation? It's not really relevant to this, but it was like atheism versus
spirituality.
Non-atheism.
Spirituality versus atheism. That was a huge conversation. That's when we
And that was that conversation is what allowed us to go deeper and to really be who we are today.
It's allowed us to have a podcast. We literally went complete opposite ends of the spectrum and saw each other's point of view, and it built the foundation for now a friendship where we can be on complete different opposites of the spectrum, see each other's point of view, sometimes switch to the complete opposite, then still see the opposite point of view and just keep going.
Which is crazy and beautiful and
just
weird
us.
At
Really,
yeah, exactly. It's us.
It is us. So that was 2010 for you.
Yes, that was 2010. Or at least
your beginning.
So spring, right? I met this other girl who was cool, and
I know this story. That's the thing.
I know. There are times in my life when I'm not the best person. Right? Sometimes I'm an asshole.
It happens. Yep.
Anyways, so she was. I don't know. I just enjoyed spending time with her, and it was something that was like allowing friendship to grow into something more, because we were decent friends, and then I was like, well, maybe, I don't know, she could be more, and I kind of like let myself go into that a little bit. And then the woman I was in love with came back.
I swear they smell it.
I know.
They smell that, oh, this happiness is about to come.
Yep.
Nope. Gotta come right in.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Power drive right in.
Yep. I mean, and it's ironic because she literally was like, "Hey, can you come over and help me with my physics homework?" And I'm right. I was like, "Well, I suck at physics, but I'm coming over."
It was at this moment again, ladies and gentlemen, Blair should have said no.
No regrets.
But he didn't. He didn't. And
No
he went
regrets.
over.
I did.
And he fell right back in it.
Oh yeah, hard.
Right back in it. Then Enoch comes along.
Yeah, I remember us like in the office, and she was like, well, we were like very touchy on each other, and you were like, you were like, you guys got to separate.
Yeah. All right, now this is my office.
Yeah. No, it's because I was like, the other girl.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's okay. We've all done things. So yeah. So that okay. So I guess now give me like the 2012. Give me the heartbreak.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you know.
So the next like 10 months we were together was some of the best and worst times in my life, which I guess is, you know, what I realize is that I'm an extremely passionate person, and she is too. And I think when two extremely passionate people collide, you know, fireworks go off. And we had many fireworks.
They did. I mean, you guys were a great couple. Like, regardless of how it ended, you guys were a great couple. Like, I would never not tell you. Like you said, she made you happy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
she also made him really sad, but she made him happy.
Yes, they were. I'm gonna tell you this, okay? At Tech, I started developing gray hairs at like 21, 22.
Do you guys have gray hairs now?
Shh, shut up.
Did they go back brown?
They did. No, that's my point. That's my point. And then she literally like, okay, this is what was so damn funny, is like, I had noticed that gray hair, right? And then we were like hanging out one day, and she's like, Blair, you're like getting some gray hairs. It's like, I think Tech is stressing me out too much. I'm like, hell no, you stressing me out too much.
Yeah. When I met him, his hair was all brown. So
yeah.
And I was 2 years into Tech, so
exactly. I remember like numerous times, and we would be fighting, and honestly, a lot of times we'd be fighting about really stupid stuff, which I guess is as per usual for most relationships.
Yeah.
And you know, looking back on it, there's a lot of things that I would have done differently. I mean, there's also a lot of things I would have done the same though, and that still would have probably been issues.
That's always, like I said, you. Because the whole thing about it is when you want to do something differently, it's because you want a different result. Because you, at the end of the day, you would have loved to have been this. She would have been the quote unquote one. That's why you were in love with her. That's why this is the heartbreak of our decade. Like, we thought these were the women who we were gonna be bringing home to mama.
I mean, I did bring her home to mama, but
well, when I mean truly bring her home to mama. Bring her home to mama, like, hey, there's a ring on this finger and stuff. But
we got close.
Y'all did get close. Y'all did. I mean, I said it was a great relationship.
I know.
It wasn't.
I remember so many times that she would like send me text messages, and my first response would be like logic, and then I would give the phone to you, and you'd be like erase.
Like, put some emotion, put some feeling in there.
I gotta tell you, there's like just actually advice real quick. If you're in a relationship and you're having an argument, give your phone to someone else, okay? To your best friend who is maybe a little bit more level-headed than you at the moment. Because when I'm in that conversation, all of my emotions are telling me what to say, and a lot of them are not agreeing with what she has to say. But there's a better way to approach it, and that is why I gave the phone to my best friend, who I trusted, right?
Yeah.
And, it worked out better than what I would have said. We probably would have broke up a long time before that.
So maybe
or maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe I'm to blame then.
We were kind of dumb, actually, me and her. But which is actually like, that's the thing is, I'm so amazed that we lasted as long as we did. Which, I don't know, to me tells me that's probably because it was a great relationship. We both.
I mean, you're gonna obviously remember the bad stuff a lot more, especially during the time. But,
right. And then as you get distance from it,
yeah, you suppress a few things.
The positive stuff is what starts coming up more. So. Yeah. Okay. So, and then at that point, I had decided I wanted to go to med school, right? And the entire time of like my relationship with her, it was a thing that she was coming with me, right? Wherever I went to do med school, she was coming with me. She could do her college or do whatever she wanted to do because she hadn't made that specific decision yet. Mm-hmm. And then she like went on like a church field trip or something. Mm-hmm. Damn it! When she met someone on there that just really annoyed me. Sorry, that's where my mind went. Wrote on her wall and everything. I don't know. Do you ever see her bedroom? She had like a bedroom of like things written on her wall, which is one of the things that I really loved about. I don't know. It was really cool.
I would have had no reason to ever see her bedroom.
That's fair. I was there quite a bit. Yeah. But she came back, right? And she was like, I don't know if I want to go with you. And I was like, I was not level-headed. Let's just put it that way.
And I wasn't there to filter him.
Yeah. So I was like, so to me, like the preceding like 10 months, we had been like, okay, I'm going to med school, and you're coming with me. It's us. We're together. This is family. Like it was Ohana, right? Mm-hmm. Lilo and Stitch. Ohana.
Ohana means family. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Ohana. And she was like, I don't know if I want to go with you. And I was like, oh, I literally, have you ever felt betrayal? Like,
I've loved a woman, so yeah.
Betrayal.
Yeah. No.
And I was like, well then, like, why are we together? It's literally like,
yeah.
And that's kind of like what, I don't remember if that's the exact words that I said, but that's kind of like what came out. And she was like, I don't know. And
that's double betrayal.
That's double. That's double. And then what was even worse is I still actually have a pretty good relationship with her mom. But her mom, like, I literally drove home because I had set apart that entire day to spend with her, right?
Yep.
Entire day.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I was here for this.
The entire day. And then I go home because, like, well, shit. I mean. And then my mom sees my face, right? I think, like, and she was like, "You broke up." No, I mean, like, that's pretty much exactly what happened.
The moms know.
Yes. I was like, I'm okay.
I'm okay.
Yes. And then her mom called me, and I had kept it together until then. All right, I had kept it together, and then her mom called me and was like, It was oh Lord.
It's okay, buddy.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You dealt with it like a champ. Okay, so.
No, that's the interim.
Yeah.
We're not up to the end yet.
Oh yeah, I forget. Yep.
Okay.
Keep going.
Took 2 months off. 2 months. And a lot of shit happened in that 2 months. Okay.
Again, it was at this point. Blair, for the third time, should have let it go.
That seems to be a continuum.
Oh, it's okay. My story's worse.
This isn't even the last one.
My story's worse, so I mean, it's fine.
Okay, so for whatever reason, me and her had this thing that was like the 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember this, but it was like 23rd of every month. That's what we allowed ourselves to see each other like once a month for like a little while, and then it was like, how about this weekend? And it was like, what about Monday? and then we were like, okay, well we're gonna be together again, and actually a lot changed in our relationship. Like it was better, it was more functional. I think the second time. I don't know what
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
I think, I mean, it was. We were a lot more honest with each other. The only problem is some of the honesty didn't come out until like 5 months into the relationship.
Mm.
And the honesty that she laid down on me really
shook you.
Yes.
I was there.
And ended up being what made our relationship end up crumbling. And so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about like what I did for her, what that letter was about that she was so appreciative of, just because
I do want the audience at least to have like, what was the, okay, so this is around like now what, we're in 2014 or so.
I don't know.
Somewhere. So we're in the middle of the decade. So at that point, you didn't get the closure.
2013, yeah.
At that point, you didn't get the closure that you wanted, and because you didn't get that closure you wanted, you went into a spiral of emotions for the next several years that affected pretty much every relationship.
Well, okay, and I'm not done with that yet.
Yeah, I know you're not.
Okay,
but I was just saying that I wanted you to kind of say what you didn't get then, so you can say what you did get in 2009.
I can tell you that. I can tell you.
Okay.
So
finish your story. Yeah.
Grenada.
You went to med school in Grenada.
I went to Grenada.
Yep.
And so I remember that there was like, I loved her, and honestly I still love her. Which is why you were like, I'm moving on, I'm good, and I was like,
I mean, I still love her. Mine as well.
I know.
But it's just...
I know. I just have more confusion around it.
Yeah. No, I love her. And I love myself enough to know that it's time. It's time to move forward into a new decade.
So... I wanted our relationship to succeed. Mm-hmm. Although I knew that a lot of the stuff that I was working on with her, like psychologically and emotionally, to like help her be a more whole person and to really love herself, it was going to take time. And I mean, the truth, the honesty that she laid down on me halfway through that relationship, it had shook me enough that it was hard for me to give that to her, and to give her that the like guiding part that she needed, and also like actually be a loving boyfriend. Because there was too many things that I was trying to juggle, right?
I mean, it's hard to be the psychologist and the friend.
Exactly.
Or not even friend, the lover. Yeah.
Exactly. And I also have to say, she is my 10, right? Right? And that's not to like objectify, but some people you look at and they're the most beautiful person that you've ever seen, and then they're also the cutest, and then they're also the hottest, right? They're sweetest. They have the
EST to everything. Everything.
And that's what she was to me. I just wanted, she had that, and then she had like everything that I was emotionally attracted to as well. Um, anyways, it was there were so many problems in a relationship nearing the end, like the last 4 to 5 months of our relationship, and I was like doing a lot to try to work with them, and part of it was like she had a pretty dysfunctional family, and so part of that was we needed to kind of get her out of that situation. My mom and dad just came back, if you can't tell. I'm not going to try to avoid that. Anyways, and the thing that we kept doing, like the theme, right, from like halfway through that relationship was get her to Grenada. Do you remember that?
And all this was get her to Grenada.
Yes, get her. There was a point in time where I would be like, Enoch, and you're like, get her to Grenada. Just don't even get her to Grenada.
You give me a text message story this long. It might response be get her to Grenada.
Exactly. And then from all the things that I did to help her, there was one moment where I was selfish. And I made a situation that should have been about her, about me. And that's not to say that I regret what I said. What I said needed to be said. The timing needed to be different, though.
I still disagree with that, but okay.
Well, that's because I like to try to take blame too, though.
I do. She needed to be put in her place. Like, I mean, not in a place, not in a gender or role type of thing. Just meaning that's like put in her place of like how she was treating you for these several weeks, months, and then she's still treating you like this, even though this is her moment. It's just like, the straw will break the camel's back, and usually it breaks it at the worst time.
And that is what happened.
It happened. So
and,
she was gonna get it.
Yeah. Anyways, and so I like went back and we were supposed to kind of sleep at the same place that night. I ended up sleeping at her mom's house and she slept at her dad's because it was that bad, right? Yeah. And then the next morning, we got together, and I don't know, I guess tried to act like nothing was wrong. And then we talked a good bit, and I thought that, maybe we could go forward. We could and honestly, with all that I had said, I thought that actually might be something that we can actually grow from here, right? Because I had holding things in is never a good thing in any relationship, because you're not being honest with yourself and you're not being honest with your partner. And what you find is that you start, as you continue holding this inside and not expressing it, you start getting passive aggressive and you start not being who you are in this relationship, not being as supportive as you could be, not being as loving as you could potentially be. And that's not even to say that you aren't loving or supporting. You might still be, but you aren't to the extent that you have the potential to be for this person. And in that, you're doing both yourself and that person and this relationship disservice. And that's what I did. That was my biggest mistake in that relationship, is not expressing myself. But then you also have the other side, which is anytime I would try to express myself, it wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
And so I was and then I came to a decision of okay, be strong, right? Be the person that I can take all of this and I can still give you myself, try to give you everything that you need, and then at some point it was too much.
No, and a relationship's not about being strong, it's about being strong and weak.
Yeah.
So that would have been, if I don't know anything about love, we can say, don't know anything about love, but that's a relationship. You're supposed to give the strength in it. You're supposed to be able to be vulnerable, and that's what weakness is: vulnerability.
Right.
Strength is being able to carry someone else's vulnerability, and so you did a great job of being able to carry her vulnerabilities, but having to carry your vulnerabilities and her vulnerabilities eventually just got too heavy.
Yeah.
Like, no one has that much strength. You have to be able to hand off some of your vulnerabilities, and you just never did that to her. It's just okay, man. You were young.
The problem is, but I do it again. Maybe. Well, that's my proclivity. Anyways, so she ended up having like a party that like all of her family was invited to, and I was there, and you know, we made things work for a little while, and then all of a sudden I get an email that was like, "Hey, I need to work on myself. I'm not going to see you again because if I do, then I don't know if I'll be able to go through with this." And frankly, I understood that. Because, I mean, I was kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Because no matter what we went through, we still, I mean, to this day, at least you can argue with me if you want to, but to this day, I think we still mean more than most two people mean to each other. And we still have that connection. And so walking away from it is one of the hardest things that we ever do. And as time, you know, distances you, it gets easier to like be like, nah. But I mean, if I saw her right now, I don't know if I'd be able to, you know, walk away if all the circumstances are right. So that's my strength and my weakness. My strength in that, after all this time, my feelings for her are still there. I count that as a strength because I don't think most people could have gone this long and still have maintained the butterflies.
Are you happy that you still have them?
Some days.
I was if that might be where we differ. I'm kind of mad that I still have the butterflies for her.
Well, there are days when I'm mad too.
No, okay. I don't know if there are days I'm happy that I still have the butterflies.
I told you I'm confused.
Is it?
And then the weakness is that I mean she is a weakness in me. You know, I always have that.
That one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So.
And because it was in the email. Because we didn't get to talk about it, right? There was so much that like wasn't said that I didn't like. I had a ton of things that like when she was ready for it, I was gonna be like, here, you know, like in my mind, in my heart, in which frankly most of that I still haven't said. So I've had closure in a way. I haven't had closure in the way of like telling you everything, but maybe that's not fully necessary. Maybe.
Okay, well, maybe that's why I got more closer than you did.
You did because you got to see her.
Yeah, I got to see her.
You got to say anything you wanted to say.
Yeah.
But the other issue is I can have like a full 24-hour conversation with this person, go back home, and then need 24 hours more. You know, that's who.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, and then the thing is, we ended up seeing each other later, and like, this is kind of how me and her are, is we'll like see each other for like one day or like a couple of times, and then we'll be separate for like a year or months on end. And I mean, she was able to unload on me, you know, at the other times, and I was able to like clarify like how I felt at another time, but I never got to like, I never felt comfortable enough because we never got to the same vulnerability, you know, that we needed to be for me to actually like give her some of what was like hurting within me.
True.
And we still haven't gotten to that point. So
you might have. Well, you gotta be fine with. You gotta be fine with not ever getting to that point.
I know. Well, and that's probably why I still have some of that confusion, is because I have a lot of positives. I have a lot of negatives. I'm not sure if they're balanced. And I don't know.
Okay. So, from the closure you did get in 2019, what was the closure that you got there?
The closure that I got was that she appreciated a portion of the sacrifices that I made for her in that relationship. And so, do you remember in Grenada when I was... You good, Ma? You good?
You're good.
In Grenada, I told you what success meant to me.
Let's elucidate for the
Okay,
audience.
yeah. So success to most people is like, hey, I'm making a ton of money, or hey, I got to be a lawyer. I'm whatever, or I'm an engineer, or I'm a doctor, or whatever, or
Yeah, I got you.
whatever.
What's success to you though?
Like I made a movie, or and people liked it, and I'm famous now. Fame, that's success.
Notoriety, it seems.
Notoriety, yeah. To me, success was making an immense impact in another person's life. And and that's that's what I told you is like, she was my success.
You did make
Which
it
was
in, and that was the
weird
letter.
to
That
say,
was the
but-
letter though.
And then that letter came back, and I was like, okay, like she's telling me that she appreciates what I did. And like if she has gotten to the point where she can have that feeling and emotion around that, then I think that I did that's my success in life. Was that as many things as I did wrong, I got something right.
Fair.
I benefited her in some way.
Fair. I'm glad you got that, buddy. My heart.
You're up.
Mine's a lot more succinct than his.
Yeah, that's fair.
It is.
Like a long drawn out story.
But yeah, you also had a deeper history with yours than I did with mine. And mine can be, I can literally give you a theme of mine for the entire time, is I was a sucker. That's really, really what it boils down to.
Hopeless romantic is the other way of saying that.
No, sucker. I think I've come to that.
I was a hopeless romantic.
He was. Me, straight sucker. Met this girl, like I said, 2010, most beautiful girl I had ever laid eyes on. Like, just, like, I knew the moment that I was in love with her. I knew it because, first of all, I work at a gym. I'm a personal trainer at a gym. We're friends. We're both personal trainers at a gym. So, gym, beautiful people are in the gym. Now, everybody's beautiful in the gym.
Right.
But beautiful people are in the gym.
They are there.
And they're beautiful people who choose to show off their beauty. If you know what I mean. And literally, I could walk around that entire place. And no matter how gorgeous a woman was, she was just a person to me. Like, that's what happened. It was like, literally, I just saw people. Like, there was no more male, female. It was just people. Because she was the only woman. She was the only woman.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yes.
Like, there were no more... Girls were no longer girls anymore. They
Right.
were just people because she was my girl. And she was the only girl to me. So that's when I knew I was in love. And it's actually funny because, like, literally, when I met her, I was canoodling with somebody else. But it was canoodling. It was like we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, but it was kind of serious. But then when I met this girl, I was like... So yeah, my fault.
That sounds similar.
It does sound similar. So maybe some of this heartbreak
I don't
was
think you told me
warranted.
that.
Yeah. Well, I had to realize it for myself because it's literally like when I met her, it was like this other girl was like I punted her, like just get away.
Peace.
Yeah. So it's like some of this you can say is karma, irony, however you want to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, we were together for 2 years. And some of the best 2 years of my life. Like I said, I was one of those people, like, when I went off to college and stuff, I I didn't see myself getting married. Like I was like kids. I didn't necessarily want kids. Didn't want to get married. Like I was focused. Like I have huge dreams. I was like I'm focused on those dreams. I don't think a family fits into those dreams. And I met her, and it just all changed. Like I started thinking about what her last name how her name would look with my last name. I started thinking about like kids' names. It was my entire world just went out of balance and stuff like that. And I was fine with it, completely fine with it, like ecstatic about it, jubilant. And like I said, it was for 23 of the 24 months. It was beautiful, very beautiful. And that last month just all went to hell. So I found out in that last month, she had another boyfriend for like the last few months and all of this, and it was just broke my heart. We obviously broke up and stuff like that. Now, here's the 2 years after this. So 2 years of being with her, and then after that, like after the 2 months, like 2 months after that, like after the feelings have kind of resided, I missed her. This is the sucker part. I missed her. Like, why do you miss someone who just broke your everything? At least, really, she broke me. Like, it has never been the same.
Broke Enoch.
It has never been the same since. Like, really, it's never been the same. And so, 2 months after that, like, I'm talking to her, and like, I'm over here, like, kind of trying to get back in. Like, I'm trying to make it happen because I just still, like, I just realized that love isn't going nowhere.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to, like, make sure your love is going nowhere. And then she hit me with that. I just really love you like a brother.
Oh, it's painful. Oh, whoa.
What? Like, how did your mind and your heart just shift that? Yeah.
Ow.
And again, still being a sucker, a solid 6 months after that, I tried to slip back in her good graces again. And I did. So I'm like, okay, we back in her. Like, maybe we're young. She's young. She made a mistake. Like, we can work through this.
Sucker.
Then I get the text message that I'm pregnant. Not by me. Then preface it with that. Like, I ain't got no kids, and that's not happening. Because I realized they don't know the story. She gets
I know.
She's pregnant by another dude. Because, like you said, we haven't been sleeping together as I've gotten back in her. Like, this hasn't happened yet, so I know it's not me. And so, by a whole nother guy. And then, because I'm pretty compassionate. It was like, well, who's the guy and stuff like that. And I'm asking not because like I'm jealous. Like,
always
I want to know.
First question.
Yeah, but no, it's not because it's not coming from there.
Right.
It's coming from like I've gotten back in your good graces. So obviously this is not like, or I don't think I'm the side guy. Like, so like, who is this guy? You haven't mentioned him, and it's just like it's a guy she barely knows. And so it's like, and then I'm like, so what's this and that? She's telling me how he doesn't do stuff for her and all this stuff. So I'm like, so you didn't really choose the best guy. And so I'm thinking in my mind that, you know what, I could actually still be with her even though she's carrying another guy's baby. Like, sucker. The theme of it. And I'm thinking that Blair thought it was honorable. He was one of the people like, Enoch, this is honorable, this is noble. But you shouldn't do that. Like, you have just way too much going on for you in your life and everything to allow that to be. And it was just like, eventually, I think me and her just started getting arguments and stuff like that. And I came to the conclusion that I couldn't be that child's father. And then it was still, even with me trying to be as noble as I wanted to be, I didn't feel like she just wanted me like the way I deserved to be wanted at that time. Yeah. Like I said, the want was there in our original relationship, but like whatever happened between that breakup and then it's just like that want just disappeared, or it diminished. I won't say disappeared. It diminished. And I'm like, if I'm out here maybe potentially trying to be a father to a child It's not like I need the want. I need to feel completely wanted.
Yes.
And
yes.
it wasn't that. And like I said, she has a whole another guy who like, but not really, and stuff like that.
Right.
And so, yeah. So that was that. This is like 2014 or so. Like, and it, like I said, it breaks me. Like every single relationship that I even tried to have after that, that baggage went with me. They were always compared to her.
Mm-hmm.
In the worst of ways and the best of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I couldn't fall in love with another girl because to me now love would be I have to see other girls aren't there. You're just people. That's my definition of love now.
Yeah.
Because I felt it with her, and so like I'm like, oh, if I'm with another girl and she says I love you, and I'm like, oh, I can't say I love you back because I don't feel that way.
Yeah.
So and that's unfair because again, it's all you're gonna change. Things are gonna be different. And so like I said, we maintained in contact. We would talk every now and again. But what ended up happening is, like I said, a week before the end of this decade, she pretty much sent me a message saying that she was talking with her mom about like her past relationship with boyfriends, and she just told me, she was like, I knew you were a great guy. I knew it, and I just was not ready to be with a great guy. And so then we met up and we talked about it. And so at this point, though, Enoch is no longer a sucker. That's the difference right there. What Enoch really wanted was I wanted to hear her perspective because she never gave me that. We just broke up and she just moved on, and she just like she did nothing wrong in her mind. Like she could cheat, and it was nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And so then she's literally like, we just sat up all night having a conversation. It was like 5-6 hour conversation, and it was good because she did give me something that like when I had to get, because remember I just told you 23 out of 24 months were amazing, perfect, but she made me realize that those 23 months that like that I had moved past it and only seen the greatness that was there and not some of the bad things. And like one of the things that she did tell me is that like she said when she was with me, she always felt the pressure that she had to be perfect. Now, I never told her that she had to be this and that. She just assumed because, I was some great guy that, like, I expected her to be this and that. And maybe I should have did a better job of letting her know that I just wanted her. Like, I didn't care that she put herself on this pedestal that she thought that I wanted. And when really I just wanted what she was, who she was.
Yeah.
And so maybe that was my fault that I should have, like, told her that you're just fine with being the way you are, and that's my regret that I never did tell her that. I never did at least show her that. Maybe I wasn't showing it that I was fine with her being the way she was, because we did get in a lot of arguments. Now that I go back and think about it, we did, and maybe some of the arguments, like I said, you're not thinking logically, you're thinking emotionally, and so maybe
right.
Some of the arguments were perceived by her that she wasn't good enough, and she was always good enough. Like I mean, at least to me, she was always good enough to me. Whether everybody else thought she was good enough, maybe I could have did better, or maybe she could have did better. She was always good enough for me.
Yeah.
And she told me that, and that flipped something in me. And so like, okay, it's that that it wasn't what it was. But then she also gave me that the things I did do, she just wasn't ready for them. Like she wasn't ready for a great guy. Mm-hmm. She wasn't ready for the type of man that I was. She wishes she was ready for that guy, but it had to click in her. So that was great for me because I had always harped on the things that I thought I didn't do.
Right.
But for her, even if I would have did those things, the result would have been quite similar.
Yeah. Because
she wasn't ready. So that was great for me to hear. And it gave me a sense of relief, and it like I can go forward now. Like I said, I'm always gonna appreciate her for what she was. Like I said, greatest growth I've ever had, it came through this decade. Technically, it's the latest decade of my life, but it's like it came through this decade, and she's not the entire house, but she's definitely a pillar of that growth.
Right.
Like I said, I always love her. I'll always have love for her. Like I said, she meant so much to my past. But now we're in the present, and I don't want to allow her to have the same power of my present that she had over my past, and I damn sure don't want to allow it over the future. So now, like, still the little inklings of everything. Like, I'm happy that I have the closure and everything, but I almost want that happiness to fade, the sadness to fade, and it just to be what it was.
Just be. Yeah.
And so, be episode, right?
I know.
And just be what it was. And like I said, and it was the heartbreak. Like I said, it's the hardest thing that I've had, the chronic hardest thing I've ever had to experience. Like I've experienced like singular things that were harder than that.
Right.
But like the chronic, it was
yeah.
just like
yeah.
and it brought out sides of me that I didn't know were there. It brought out sides of me that I did know were there that I was trying to keep hidden, and it brought out sides of me that I needed to see. And that's the biggest thing. Like, I appreciated the things. Like, it showed me really who I was. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the great. And all of those are me. And so, I thank her for that. I know you probably thank yours for that, but I got a little more closer than you did. Like, I was able to sit down, like, literally on the couch, and there were moments where she tried to, like, nod, and I was like, no. We're having this conversation. I like, because to me, it's like, I don't know if I was ever going to get this opportunity again. Like, she was being open. I was like, oh, you being open? All right, come here. Let's have this conversation. Like, I needed this.
Right.
Because I couldn't spend the next decade harping over someone who didn't want me like that, the way I deserve to be wanted. So.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, the other part for me is not all of my pain at this point is due to her, right? Like, some of it's just due to stuff that, like, I have physically been through over the last few years. Like, so.
It's fair.
It's I am multifaceted at this point. I know that you have too, but mine has been chronic.
Yes,
in both ways.
In both ways, yes.
And they compounded each other, really. And that made it even, I don't know. I'm in a place where I'm enjoying right now, though, right? I'm seeing, I see parts of myself that I love. I'm able to hang out with you and kind of grow the parts of me that I enjoy being. Yeah. And, be friends with people that expand me. There's not, I don't know. Friendship to me is one of the biggest things to me, and that's where I am right now. So heartbreak, yeah, and that was like an enormous part of this decade. But for me, there was more to it too. So.
Okay. Wow. Okay, we can't let this episode go by without a movie. Something.
Okay.
Something to. Okay, so. If there's a breakup movie that can kind of symbolize how you felt, or what you want to like have going forward, I already got mine. How you feel and want to go forward, like, what would that breakup movie be?
The Breakup.
Okay, tell me. Okay.
Right.
Why?
Vince Vaughn, Jennifer Aniston. Right. They're like together, and he's kind of a douche. And she's actually like, she's great, right? Amazing. She was amazing in that relationship. Amazing. I was like, I will take you any day. And he's like selfish, doing his own thing, literally doing as little as possible, both like in life and in that relationship. And, and she tries different things, very enticing things sometimes to get him off his ass and to like into the relationship. And I mean, that's all she wanted. She just wanted them to be closer together. That was it. And eventually, like, she found her worth, I think, in that at the end. And she was like, no, I'm going my own way. I need to do this. And then they like come back and like see each other like a few months later, or like a year later or whatever. And Vince Vaughn is like actually stepping up and like doing like contributing to the world, and he's also like you can tell that he's emotionally like in a better place where he's like trying to grow, right? And they both see each other, and she's like, "How you doing?" He's like, "I'm good," and she's like, "I'm good too," That's what I want.
Okay.
I just want to keep growing, man.
Beautiful.
Vertically.
Yeah. Okay. 500 Days of Summer for me.
Oh, yes.
500 Days. Okay, so first of all, he's in love with this girl named Summer for 500 days. Hence 500 Days of Summer. Relationship, it's funny, he remembers the relationship a lot different than the relationship actually was.
Right.
And his entire goal of the movie, or at least for at least the last like 200 days of it, is to get her back. And the funniest moment is when he thinks she's gonna get her back. She invites him to this party, and he's thinking, "Yeah, this is about to be it." In his mind, he jumps to all these like different places, and then it turns out that this is the party where the dude who is gonna be her husband proposes to her.
Yeah.
Two really beautiful scenes that I love from that movie. One was so they have this moment early on where he is talking about how he believes in true love. Like, he's completely optimistic for it, and she's completely pessimistic for it, like saying that this doesn't exist. And then after she gets married to another man, can't stress that enough, they're sitting on the bench talking to each other, and he says, "You know what? You were right." She's like, "Right about what?" He's like, "Yeah, this whole love thing, true love, this complete garbage." And she's like, "You know what? I've been thinking this entire time that you were the one right." Like, and then she goes into why she married the dude she did, and like he realizes when she says that they never had that. And then he has that epiphany moment, like, he thought he had that, but he really just never did.
Right.
And then the last moment I think is just brilliant. Is that literally he quits his job, has his whole, not makeover, but like he redoes his life.
Right.
And gets, a little bit, and finds a new job, and he has the moment he meets this next girl, and her name is Autumn. I thought it was very beautiful.
I know.
It was very beautiful.
Nah, it's going to be 500 Days of Autumn.
I mean, you might be right. And so, I guess that's what I want to go. I feel like I'm going into my autumn now.
Yeah.
Like my summer is over. I'm so thankful. Grateful. I'm going into my autumn. I appreciate my summer. I enjoyed it.
It's a good summer.
It's a good summer. Great summer. Memorable summer. One of the best summers I've ever had in my life. Yeah, I'm ready for autumn. So, it's good, man. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch that tonight, actually.
Sounds good. I got my second birthday today, so.
Yeah. His birthday was yesterday, so fantastic. Happy birthday, Blair. Okay, so last segment. What did we learn about each other?
Oh, boy. I learned that you dropped somebody else for her. I didn't know that. Like, damn. All right.
I hid that one a little bit.
Yeah.
I definitely buried that one.
Because I had been, like, carrying mine for,
actually, off camera, I'll tell you who it was. Because you definitely know her. You definitely do.
Oh, boy. Okay. Cool.
So, yeah. So, you'll see some...
Might be explain some things in life, too.
It will definitely explain some things in life. Like, that's why I'm happy. I feel like some of this stuff is my fault.
Yeah.
Let me see. What did I learn about you? Well, I think what was the beautiful thing that I learned about you is not even what I learned about you. It's what I kind of learned about her. She was kind of always the same person throughout the relationship. Like, literally, you said that when you were starting tech or whatever, like, she wrote you a letter and said that, hey, we can't do this. And then before Grenada, she wrote you another letter and said, hey, we can't do this.
It's always letters.
So it shows that in that time period that she didn't really grow. Or at least grow to the level that she needs to. But it's always letters. Because she wrote you another letter again, which is very poetic.
Well, this is actually text. This is an email. The last was
some form of written communication.
Yes, fair.
Some form of written communication.
I just wanted to be like...
Not a face-to-face interaction.
No.
Because there's that. Those are completely different.
Yes.
So she wrote you that.
That's
and then at the end, though, her form of written communication was appreciation for you. So it's just like, okay. That's her thing.
I guess so.
I see why you were so nervous about that letter now. It really kind of, the gravity, the last letter I read for him, so I see like I understood the gravity of the situation, but I guess I didn't understand how heavy it was.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. This is the girl that broke Blair, right? And she still has that power. That's all I'm saying. So that letter, I was terrified, and then I was pleasantly surprised, because it gave me something rather than taking away, and maybe it didn't give me all that I wanted, but it gave me part of what I wanted. So I'm thankful for that.
Did you get what you need?
I'll let you know. I'm not sure yet.
Fair. Well, I think that brings us to the end of this episode. Another good one, buddy. We were vulnerable, had some laughs.
Yeah, showed you our weakness.
Yeah, apparently women. It's, like I say,
we always had that in common.
We always did. It bonded us. It's literally bonded. Like, so these stories, as you can kind of see, we already kind of knew where each other were going because we were there for it. Yeah. For most part of the journey. We bonded over these journeys. So no matter what, even though these relationships ended in heartbreak, they didn't become the things that we thought they were going to be. Mm-hmm. We found each other through them. Seriously, I found one of the best people in my life, in the world, in my opinion, through this thing that was ending. So it's really a testament that, like, I understand that bad things happen. Bad things happen to people who they don't deserve to happen to. Yes, right. It happens. Right. But as that bad thing is happening on this end, there is also this amazing thing that is blossoming on another end. And
it's all about where you look.
Exactly. And our friendship is a testament to that. So, like I said, because if I was in a happy place, we wouldn't have been friends. Like, the anger, the pain, the sadness that we gave each other was literally what bonded us. So
that's like last night, the birthday party that was me and my family. And when I say family, that means you. He was
only two of them were blood, and there was like 10.
There was 10 people. Right. And last night was beautiful. I got to. When you're at a point where you can just sit back and watch the beauty between your two friends go, that's, you made it. Okay, that's success. Right? I enjoyed last night immensely. Just seeing the beauty that I have in my life. That's not from me. Right?
Well, buddy, you've been very successful. And that was this episode of B&E, Blair and Enoch, Breaking and Entering. Tune in. Stay tuned. We got a lot more coming for you.
Yeah. We ain't done yet.
Never.